Okay, we're going to get started, and just want to welcome everybody to the Mayor's Citizens Forum at Yale. We do this quarterly, the first Thursday of every quarter. So our next one will be the first Thursday in September. So this is our second one, and purpose of the forum is to meet with residents so that we can discuss issues of interest, two-way dialogue. Today we have some special guests. I understand we're getting a special award from the First Lead-Free Promise Project. So we have Ms. Rosemary Holt, who's the chair also of the Delco Board of Health. We have Deanna Dyer, who's the director of health policy, and we have the famous Donna Cooper. I think everybody knows Donna Cooper, the executive director of Children First. So we're going to hear from them in a little bit, but and later on we're going to hear from our Vincent Zappacosta, our fire marshal, and Shanique Summers, our fire chief, and they're going to present us with a safety update. We do have about blessings, and we open all my meetings with a word of prayer. So if you could so indulge yourself and just bow your heads with me. Father, Lord, we ask for your blessings upon our borough, the safety of our children, our neighborhoods of Delaware County, of Commonwealth, and of the United States of America. We ask for your blessings to support us so that we can continue to enjoy freedom and justice for all. Amen. This time, we're going to ask if you can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. This I think we'll just go right into with no one. By the way, we had our meetings start on time, ends on time, and it won't last past 8:30. We have some very nice refreshments. Nice foods, sandwiches in the back. Fruit salads is plenty. For all, and we do have a raffle at the end. My wife cannot be here; she's at a symposium. But we have our daughter Ruth Ann here. Ethan is an RN, an emergency room nurse working at Mercy Fitzgerald, and she's always trying to keep Daddy healthy. So she's going to assist us in the raffle giveaway. So thanks for being here with us, Ann. At this time, we're going to ask Rosemary Holt, Deanna Dyer, and Donna Cooper if they would come forward.
I'm going to say a few words.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I do have a boot on, so I'm going to lean across the podium. How's everyone tonight? Thank you so much for being here today, and thanks to the mayor, and all council, and for allowing us to speak today on the importance of the ordinance that you passed to protect children from lead paint poisoning in the borough of Yale. I'm Rosemary Holt. I'm the health policy consultant for Children First and the Lead-Free Promise Project, as well as the chair of the Board of Health for Delaware County. Children First works to improve the lives of our region's children by developing initiatives and advocating for quality health care, child care, public education, and family stability. Since 2008, Children First has facilitated the Delaware County Lead Poisoning Prevention Coalition, comprised of a cross-section of public-private entities that are committed to eliminating lead poisoning in Delaware County. Working together with Children First statewide Lead-Free Promise Project, which is comprised of 80 organizations and over 400 members fighting to increase childhood lead testing and to prevent lead poisoning in children statewide. Lead poisoning can cause permanent brain damage to children, especially children under the age of 6 years of age. I'll just say that Donna shared with me that her family, her parents, lived in Yaden in the 1950s, and her brother actually was lead poisoned. And so lead can cause learning behaviors, hearing and speech problems. Lead paint hazards in the home, primarily rental units, are the main source of lead poisoning. Lead is a sweet-tasting material that children, once tasted, will come back to the source time and time again. I think we all can visualize the image of a child eating the paint chips from an old windowsill. And as my favorite pediatrician friend has said to me repeatedly, lead is heavy, and it ends up all over your body and is hard to remove. A child exposed to high concentrations of lead can have lifelong consequences impacting their learning, their health, and their ability to thrive as an adult. All right, hold on. I'm supposed to do that seamlessly, but lead paint was not banned in residential use until 1978, and the majority of residential properties in Yaden were built between 1940 and 1949, when lead paint was predominantly used in homes and businesses. Some public health facts to think about in Pennsylvania, Delaware County, and Yaden. Pennsylvania has the second highest number of children poisoned in the nation, with 11,500 children poisoned last year. 80% of the children in Pennsylvania and 77% of the children in Delaware County under the age of 6 have never been tested for lead. In 2022, when the 5-year action plan was unrolled, 250 children were poisoned. In 2024, in Delaware County, that number was 450 children. Noting that the CDC changed the positive blood level from 5.0 to 3.5, they were but have recognized that there is really no safe blood level. Yaden ranks 4th in municipalities in Delaware County with the highest number of children with elevated blood levels, above the 3.5. In Delaware County, African American children accounted for 31.2% of children tested, but yet accounted for 49% of confirmed elevated cases, while white children accounted for 39% of the children tested and only 18.4% of the confirmed elevated cases. Which means while African American children had less testing, they accounted for the higher percentage of cases in the county. Delaware County Lead Poisoning Prevention Coalition and the Delaware County Health Department have been working hard to raise awareness of the problem of lead poisoning in Delaware County. In 2022, a conference was held at Rider, and the 5-year action plan was unveiled, copies of which are available on the Children First website. And the key goals from that conference were to remove lead paint hazards out of homes, ensure all children tested for lead and improve their health outcomes, communicate effectively with county stakeholders about lead poisoning prevention, treatment, and resources, and secure sustainable funding for lead prevention, intervention, and remediation activities. I'm happy to report that the progress is being made in all these areas, and the passing of the home prevention ordinance by Yaden Borough is another step towards preventing children from being poisoned and suffering the long-term consequences from lead poisoning, which is totally preventable. Delaware County Health Department and the County Office of Housing has obtained a grant from HUD that will help repair homes impacted by lead. Usually that involves windows, doors, high friction areas in the home. The Pennsylvania Department of Health also has a home testing company that can test your home for lead if your child tests positive. The Delaware County Action Agency also provides resources for lead remediation. Delaware County has many resources and information available, so I urge you to contact the Delaware County Health Department for information at 484-276-2100. And I just want to recognize Shannon and Mary, who are here for the Delaware County Health Department today. And they have a lovely table with resources, and they're actively having a new campaign. So I urge you to pick up some of their goodies there about Get the Lead Out in your community. Time and time again, as I've worked on childhood lead poisoning over the years, I've heard from families devastated by having a lead poisoned child. I repeatedly hear that if I had only known about lead, they would have had their child tested and their home tested. They are angry and frustrated that their child will suffer from something that was totally preventable. So thank you, Rafi Katie, for spearheading this initiative in Yaden, and for the mayor and council for voting to pass this important health and safety ordinance in your community. I also want to note that we have lots of successes across Pennsylvania. We've had 9 communities, including Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, pass this ordinance. And Philadelphia recently just told us that with passing this ordinance, they've seen a 50% decrease in the number of children that had childhood lead poisoning. So the ordinance works, and thank you for doing it. Now I'd like to introduce Deanna Dyer, our Health Policy Director from Children First, and she's going to give you an update on what's happening in Pennsylvania right now around advocacy for lead.
Thanks, Rosemary, and good evening, everyone. Thank you to the mayor and to all the council for having us today. And I echo Rose's gratitude for the hard work that Yaden Borough has done to make sure that kids in Pennsylvania and Yaden Borough especially are safe from lead poisoning. I just want to highlight a couple of the facts that Rosemary talked about. So, despite only 35% of children under the age of 2 getting tested for lead poisoning in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania ranks second in the nation for the number of kids that are poisoned by lead. So think about that. Only 35% are actually tested, yet the number of kids that are poisoned ranks second in the nation. That's a leaderboard that we don't want to be on top of, and measures like the ordinance here in Yaden Borough are going to go a long way, because to Rose's point, the ordinance works. I want to talk a little bit about what the Lead Free Promise Project has been doing in Harrisburg to get some change throughout the entire state. So in addition to the work that we do with local boroughs, we also do state level work to help reduce the impacts of lead in our communities and lead across the Commonwealth. So this past Tuesday, we held an advocacy day where about 35 volunteers who are members of the Lead Free Promise Project all embarked upon the Capitol in Harrisburg, advocating for one main thing, and that's making sure that every kid in the Commonwealth gets 2 tests for lead before the age of 2. And the reason we're pushing for that is because that's what the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends. Right now in the Commonwealth, kiddos who are on Medicaid are already required to do that, but we don't yet have it universal for every kid in the community. So we're happy to report that we have bipartisan legislation that's pending in the State House, so you can keep up with all the work that's happening at the state and our advocacy on that through our website. We have a table set up in the back that has materials available. So we hope that you'll stay plugged in and reach out to your local members of the legislature to tell them about how important this issue is. I mean, right here in your own community, 28 kiddos tested positive for lead poisoning in 2022 alone. So it's an issue that impacts every community, and reaching out to your local legislators to talk about it being an important issue to you can go a long way in how successful we are in Harrisburg. Now though, I'd like to invite Rosemary and Donna Cooper up as we have a special recognition. Come here.
I'm gonna ask council to join me.
Or would you like us, you want us to put your come out front, or?
Run, right?
Right here?
Come on, girl, yeah.
And,
So tonight, Mayor, the Borough of Yaden, you join the city of Chester and East Lansdowne in Delaware County, as well as 6 other municipalities statewide, including Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and making homes lead safe for children and families. It's our honor to present you with a certificate of appreciation and recognition from the Lead Free Promise Project.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate it.
Wow. I'm humbled that you took the time to recognize us, Yaden Borough, for the work we're doing in having a lead-free environment and passing that ordinance. And it dawned on me as I was sitting there how your work is so important in what you do in advocating for safety in our communities and in particular safety with our most vulnerable residents, our children. And it's really imperative that we get the word out and that we do legislate as municipalities. And I didn't realize that we were one of the first. Wow. So you can give yourself a round of applause. And I know the council have very passion for and it's really noteworthy, and I just want to thank you that you, again, took the time out to recognize us as being one of the first municipalities in this area, and not only in Delaware County, but in this entire Philadelphia region. So thank you very, very, very much, and thanks for coming and recognizing us. And we're going to continue to spread this word because our children are at risk without such legislation and intervention. Thank you so much. And you can stay. All right. So what we have now, and I do want to recognize our borough councilors. Standing here with the award is Jesse Peets. He's absconding with the award there. So we got Jesse Peets. In the hat, we have Nicole Reedy, if you can look in, Ms. Reedy. And to the right, we have Councilor Tony. If he's one of my ministers, I better know. And to my extreme left, we have Rafi Cave, our borough manager. Next to him, we have our fire chief, Shaheen Summers. We have our new director of public works, Catherine Howe. Next to her, we have the director of public works, Mike Guzzulo. To my right, we have our new fire marshal, Vincent Japacosta. And to his right, we have our police chief, Henry Gianmarco. So a couple of quick updates. Flag Day is coming up Saturday, June 14th. As a matter of fact, Councilor Beatty, you want to give a, I don't know if this, I got it, yeah. And she, let me say this about Flag Day. Yaden is a proud founder of Flag Day. The person most credited to make that happen is William Herr.
No, really?
So he was a Yadenite, and he had a crusade for over 50 years to make Old Glory, the flag, recognized in its own day. Now, it's kind of common to us, but It was only 1949 when that happened. He lived right here on Cypress Street, and he lauded every American president from William McKinley to Harriet Truman, and had Flag Day committees and all that over the state to make Old Glory recognized. And then President Truman invited him, and I'm saying this on behalf of our guests, to the White House, spent a special train right here, which is the old R3, Elman, the Elman one. It wasn't that back then, but he said a special train transferred him 30 Street to the White House and witnessed that legislation signed on the White House. And he moved back here in Yaden. He was one of the founders of Yaden Presbyterian Church, and a man of the community, a man of God, and a man of great faith. And even General Douglas MacArthur recognized him with a special letter. But he's one of our heroes, and he's a Yaden man. We're the founders of Flag Day. I've always been given the Yaden.
And you'll hear it again next Saturday. All over again, Flag Day. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Councilman Popey. I am the chair of the Recreation Committee here at Yadesboro. And yes, next Saturday we will be celebrating our 76th annual Flag Day here in Yaden. And if you grew up in Yaden like I have, you know that this is our big party. So we invite you all out to come. Bring your friends. Please bring your family members, your grandchildren, your children. We have a whole day of great events lined up next Saturday. So just to go over a little of what the day will look like, we will have a parade on Bailey Road starting at 11 a.m. And the parade will come up Bailey Road to Church Lane and then to Longacre Boulevard, where the festivities will be taking place for the entire day. We will have something for every age group, for the little ones, the not so little ones, and everyone in between. So please come out. Live music, a DJ, line dancing, food trucks, activities for little kids, as I said, and then we will commence that around 7 p.m. At 9 p.m., we will then be over at Kirkfield, Bradbury Athletic Complex at Kirkfield, for the drone show. So we are really excited about that. Please spread the word, and everything except for the food and the vendors is free. So please come out. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
We're just to give you an update, Church Lane, McDade Boulevard, that high accident area, PennDOT has finally installed, reconfigured the lights and installed the whole new contraption at that intersection, and it seems to be working well. It started Monday, and it's real. We have to wait and see how effective it is, but so far so good. So take a look. It's reconfigured by PennDOT. Both of those roads are state roads, Route 13 and McDade and Church Lane. All right. We've had, speaking of folks, part of my job is I read the news, I see the trends, safety in all aspects, and one of the trends in our area is that, as you know, the closure and Taylor hospitals, which impinges upon public safety and the ability to host. And I come from a family of nurses. My wife is an RN at Fitzgerald University, so it's my daughter. And what that means is it's already contracting with the closing of mental health institutions, like Hamilton State. A lot of mental health institutions are closed down, which puts more pressure for services at local hospitals, where they're treating mental health on an outpatient basis, which is not enough. And then with the for-profit businesses taking over our hospitals, taking money out and then declaring bankruptcy, and then leaving the neighborhood bereft of these hospitals. So you have those two closures. You have Delaware County Memorial Hospital, which is like a shell, same thing when we have. It's in legal limbo, but it's not really functional. And a lot of hospitals, I heard on the news, a hospital in New Jersey are closing. So what that means is for emergency treatment and mental health, hospitals, they're closing. A lot of those mental health cases are going to be diverted to Mercy Fitzgerald. They're one of the only hospitals left in eastern Delaware County. And that means that a lot of people are not, things are going to fall through the cracks. So it's a crisis. I don't want to scare you, but it's a crisis. And then with what's happening federally, with eating away Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all these things, goods and services are being pinched upon, and the middle class is getting squeezed, and our ability to service residents, not just on a regular basis, but an emergency basis, where somebody has to be 302'd, because our police officers are being confronted with mental cases. It gets really, really difficult. So I just want the chief to give a little overview of what our police department is doing to responsibly take care of these cases as they come up. Chief.
Thank you, sir. We're feeling, just like everyone else is feeling, we're feeling the strain of dealing with, especially as it comes to the 302 units. And what happens is the hospital is located in our area, and we're responsible. We've been getting a lot of calls where other jurisdictions will bring 302 patients into the ED, and if they're not restrained properly, or, and that's their protocol, we have nothing to do with their protocol, how they handle the ED or the patients are in the ED. We're getting calls where they're actually leaving the hospital, and we have to go find them again and bring them back. This is going on within a couple weeks. I know Mainline Hospital has a protocol in place. I reached out to the hospital to try to set up a meeting to try to get some kind of protocol that we can work with. It has been an ongoing situation, and we're trying to handle it as best as possible. And it's definitely a strain on our resources.
And our police department is doing the best that we can. But I do want the residents to know that all these services are being constricted and being challenged in many ways. We had, on top of that, we've had a closure. Oh, by the way, our president, our council president, just entered the room, so I just want to recognize Latoya Monroe. Excellent for our president. We just got an award for our president from the First Lead Free Promise Project, recognizing your work with the council for passing an ordinance to restrict or outlaw lead paint in our schools and municipalities. And we were told that we were the first in the area, not just in Delaware County, but in the entire area, and how crucial that is. So, welcome. So on that same theme, we've had in Delaware County, most of our municipalities are volunteer fire EMS. They don't get paid, they're volunteer. We have a fire station downstairs, so our volunteers, they work in shifts, they work every night, they sleep downstairs in the box, you hear them. And what's happening, we've had local municipality fire departments that shut down for either lack of volunteers. Just recently, Upper Darby Township closed their firehouse. I'm sorry, Darby, yeah, let me not say Darby Township, sorry. I think Sharon Hill closed one of theirs, Millbourne shut down, and there are a couple of others that are shut down. And we have mutual agreements where we answer, whoever is available will answer that call, but it's getting, again, constricted. We're running out of volunteers, we're running out of hospitals, we're running out of service, we're running out of money, we're running out of a lot of things. So, on that note, I do want to introduce Shahid Summers as our new fire chief, and I want to introduce Vincent Zappacosta, our new fire marshal. And if Mr. Summers can address, we had a couple of recent fires in this area, and if he, just like he gave the report at the Saturday's public safety meeting, if you could give the similar report to advise our residents of what's going on in the fire. With the fires. Mr. Summers?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shahid Summers. I'm the chief of the fire department, the Union Fire Department. I've been chief of the department now going on 2 years. So yes, I am relatively still new. It's a new position for me. I've been with the department a little over 10 years now. Still learning the job. I love doing what I'm doing, especially for the residents of Yeading. It's been wonderful, serving this community. But as of lately, we have had uprising of fires, none of which are, related and matter. So there's no reason to be, concerned about arson. All of them are accidental, and accidental by the means of carelessness, in the sense of candles being left unattended overnight. That started the large fire we had on the 900 block of Church Lane. That one was due to a candle being left lit overnight. A lot of people assume that a small candle, as small as it may be, cannot cause a lot of destruction, but unfortunately, that would cause so much destruction. That fire had to go to a second alarm to bring in more resources, because the first alarm companies cannot handle the amount of fire that was produced from that one home. In the midst of that fire, actually a second alarm company, SWAT 26, which is the Upper Darby company, was dispatched on a second alarm. In the midst of the fire attack, that firefighter actually fell to the floor when the floor gave way underneath him. He is actually home now, suffering a dislocated shoulder, all from the results of someone left a candle lit overnight, fell asleep, and that guy's actually lucky to still be here. He had no working smoke detectors in the home. He actually was woken up because he could not breathe. He could not get out the front door, could not make it down the steps. He actually had to climb out his windows to escape the fire. So he is actually very, very lucky to be here. And that fire happened a little after 4 o'clock in the morning. Like the mayor was talking, we rely heavily on our mutual aid partners, being Lansdowne, Darby, Upper Darby, Sharon Hill. This is a department that is in fact still open. So we rely a lot on our mutual aid partners to help us fight any and all fires. But us as in the aid fire department cannot fight a single house fire alone. It takes a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. It's a very exhausting task for this one fire company, especially in today's day and age where all volunteer fire companies are struggling. I can honestly say, myself as a volunteer fire chief, I am very fortunate for the men and women that, serve this community. We are not lacking in certifications for fire protection. We actually have a lot of, young members that dedicate every ounce of free time to stay at the firehouse Monday and Sunday. All days and hours of the night, someone is always going to be there. And even if no one is at the station, a lot of us respond from home. So you might not see a Yale fire truck in front of your door 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You might see another fire truck, but we are coming all the time. And as far as all the hospitals closing, that does affect our emergency EMS service as well. So with that being said, they are spread thin. So it's not uncommon to see a Yale ambulance all the way in Prospect Park. And I know that is disconcerting for the residents because if someone get a medical emergency, who is coming? And the question is, the fire department will come. We are all trained in first aid and CPR. We can start, any type of medical emergency until an ambulance get there. So we will come if the ambulance is not coming as soon as possible. We are coming. And that's something, I value to the fire department and the residents alone, and make sure the men and women is well trained, even outside of fires. Building collapse, we are trained in. Floods, we are trained in. We are trained in a lot more than just fighting fires. So any emergency come out in the borough of Yale and any other municipality, if we dispatch, we are coming, we are well trained. So next up, I'll have our fire marshal, Vincent Sapicasso, speak more on some of his duties and his investigation on the recent fires.
Good evening. Chief Summers said we've had a couple recent fires in town, none of which have been suspicious for any reason, but mainly, accidental, and one was candle. Another one appears to be maybe discarding cigarettes where they don't belong. A lot of times we have electrical fires, people are overloading outlets, things of that nature. People are storing things in their utility rooms where your water heaters and things are, and baseboard heaters, materials next to those. So one of the biggest things we see a lot of times going to certain houses in town or out of town, or a lot of clutter, things of that nature. We just want to always address those. We do our best when these guys go out every day. They go out from, they've been to 2 calls since this started already. But with summertime coming up, one of the bigger concerns in the area is grills. People putting their grills next to housing, siding, things of that nature, on their deck. Charcoal grills or fire pits on your wooden deck. Wood, is a flammable material. But with the most recent fires, again, nothing seems suspicious, nothing seems out of place. It's just kind of everyday things that we start to lack as we grow older, not having smoke detectors in our homes. So we're working on putting a program back together to try and get residents their smoke detectors. So as soon as I hear that, I'll put it out at one of the council meetings, but that is in the works. Outside of that, like Chief Summers and the mayor had said, the firemen around here are all volunteer. A lot of residents come from the city or outside where that's not the case. These guys are working full-time jobs, 40 hours a week, and then coming to the firehouse for another 20 plus hours a week, or coming from home and waking up. Many of us have families and other things going on outside of that. So just, be very thankful. These guys are good. They are all certified. I've seen it myself. Been to schools with many of these guys. I've known Shahid for 10 years now. You have no worries there, but the future is coming, and eventually, like we spoke with the mayor the other day, there's going to need more support for the fire department, the police departments, the EMS services, and most of that support comes from monetary. Which may, however borough council has to handle that, but it's coming. Volunteering is dying, so unless anybody has a bunch of 17 or 18-year-olds that want to come join the firehouse and, save us. But in the future, there's going to be more talks. There's going to be a lot of things, the borough, I'm sure, would like to secure a better, more stable EMS service, help the fire company, whether that's, eventually leading into a non-volunteer department or a partially, paid department, or, a stipend. There's plenty of grants out there, and the borough council, from what I can tell, again, I'm new, I'm just being here in January, has been fully supportive of the fire company, with apparatus and equipment and things of that nature. But, when you see the flyers go out to your doorstep asking for a small donation, or you see the firemen standing on the corner holding a boot, or you see them at Flag Day doing some type of raffle, girl fundraiser, they need those couple bucks. They need that support from the residents. So that's really all I have. But thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity for helping and serving Edinburgh. So far, it's been so good, and hopefully stop all the work, and we have a lot less fires coming up in the summer. Thank you.
I think it's important for the residents to know how we're served with all volunteer fire and EMS service, because you don't want a situation where you have a medical emergency or a fire and there's no one there. We have been fortunate speaking to these three gentlemen that unlike some of our neighboring boroughs, we actually have right now a good amount of volunteers. So we're fortunate in that we're not experiencing that they do need to be funded. There's a couple of different sources. One of them, like I said, pitching upon us is like a hospital service, because there's a reciprocal agreement where they get fire departments to volunteer certain amount of money to one, kind of like their EMS for their service, and they're running out of money in there. It's just, there's not enough hospitals anymore. As events, and also for many events, this is about the concept of farm taking money from all the different sources to just all volunteers. So you need to know how the service is run, that you make decisions as you move forward as elected officials and as residents as well. And at this time, we'll call on our police chief, and we'll just give us a rundown on our crime stats. And that's the other thing, knock on wood. We've had some crimes or shootings recently, and thank God, no, we haven't had a homicide in several years. We've had some misdemeanors, but anyway, I'll give it over to Chief from the good overview on our current crime situation.
Good evening again, all. I want to address the first thing with the shooting. We had a shooting a couple Thursdays ago. It was an individual over, it seems like it was a quarrel over a parking spot. The individual was shot 5 times. And by the grace of God, the individual lived. And I just want to talk about, we talked about fully staffing, and I'm going to give an example of that Thursday. That Thursday, we had 2 officers working a shift. We usually have 4 officers working, but 1 officer was out injured, the other officer had a vacation day. So we had 2 officers working that day, no stay working. Thankfully, myself, Lieutenant Burns, and Detective Sessions were all in, because we were in the search warrant 5 a.m. that morning. So at noon, 12:30, the call comes out. But just to illustrate, I know we talk about being fully staffed. One of the officers had to stay in the station because we're mandated now. When we have a prisoner, that a fully sworn police officer has to watch the prisoner because of the situations that happened prior to my arrival. We all, the unfortunate situations that occurred. So now we had 1 sergeant on the street, myself, the lieutenant, and Detective Sesnick handling the shooting. And thankfully, as we talked about mutual aid, we got East Lansdowne, Versailles, Upper Darby, Lansdowne, Sharon Hill, and Darby was fine. But it just shows, I know we constantly keep saying we're fully staffed, but, summer's coming up. The officers have vacation time, so that really, dwindles down the number of officers we have on the street. That's why it's important. We keep stressing, the fire department talking about mutual aid. We have great partners. That's why, last year we teamed up with Lansdowne and East Lansdowne for National Night Out. I'm happy to say they invited us again this year. They come to our trunk or treat events. We work together, and it's really important. But with that shooting, I want to kudos to the neighbors. We went on Nextdoor. We will utilize Nextdoor for information only. I'm not going to get back and forth why we turn off the comment. We turn off the comment because you get keyboard warriors, you're going to argue. I'm not arguing with keyboard warriors. If you're a keyboard warrior, come talk to me. We can talk. that's why we're going to use it for informational, and I have to thank everyone. We got great videos. We are still investigating this case. Lydia is doing an unbelievable job. CIA email, the county, but it just shows you, and that leads into my next thing with gun violence. Tomorrow, the 6th to the 8th, is if you can wear orange to recognize gun violence. In America, one of the statistics, scary statistic, is every day at least 125 people are shot and killed in America. Shot and killed, 125. And it's to the point where I throw a lifeline out to, and I didn't realize he'd get back to me so quick, to Commissioner Bethel. I have a meeting with Commissioner Bethel to specifically talk about the towns that border Philly to try to have some kind of open dialogue working together, because unfortunately, crime knows no border, criminal knows no border. But we're getting a lot of down West Philly and some over, and vice versa, and West Philly, and we're trying to work together with Philadelphia Police Department. So I'll be meeting with them on the 24th to try to establish a working relationship. And I'm not sure what it looks like right now. Might be just information sharing, but that's key. With our crime, as the mayor pointed out, crime is going down throughout the country, but unfortunately, I know this being a kid in Philly, I attended a lot of things at the Plateau and Lemon Hill, and we saw what happened in Lemon Hill. That's the gun. There's too many guns out there. If you're an NRA member, I apologize, but there's just too many guns. And now with these ghost guns, these 80% guns, where they can get them online, they get a couple drill holes, and now they have a gun. And these lock switches, they're killing devices. They turn a semi-auto gun into a full auto gun, and it's scary. I mean, you have 14-year-old kids now carrying guns, getting guns, bringing guns to school, and it's something that we're working on. But overall, crime is down. Our traffic enforcement is up. The parking is up. I'm sure some of these have been affected by the parking, but we're out there. And the one thing we keep hearing about the street cleaning, the signs do not say street cleaning. Let me state for the record. The reason why those signs are out there, remove your car between the hours of 8 and 12 or 12 and 4. So Mike from Public Works has that auto come out and dig a hole in front of your house, so we know that car will be gone. They did not say street cleaning, so if the street cleaning goes by at 12:02 and the parking guys give you a ticket at 1 o'clock and you were supposed to be there between 1 and 4, tickets on the stand. So you go to court to fight it, that's the way it works. So, but with that, we are also working on with the Speaker of the House more grant funding, and what we're trying to do is, the way the law reads for red light cameras, you have to have a town of over 20,000 residents. So we're trying to see if they can actually change that law in Harrisburg, where it's 10,000 residents. And hopefully that'll happen, maybe we get some red light cameras, they definitely work in the city, and we're trying. So I just want to, again, thank council and thank the mayor for their support of the police department. We do have an individual retiring in August, and we're already talking about trying to bring someone on prior to that to get them trained up, and we're looking at that. And just be safe. The summer's coming up, and if you see something, say something. I know you hear that all the time. At 911, please dial 911. I cannot tell you how many calls we get in the headquarters. This is going on. 911 creates a record, and it'll get police to a lot faster. You dial a number, and then us hanging up, and we have to pull this back and let this back know. So, your 911 is real important. Any questions at all?
Yeah, right. I want to know, is it common practice to have our police officers and their vehicles used as black folks?
These are smart.
Black. When they're doing construction. That's the company hired them. The company doing the work hired them. The detail to sit out there and block off sidewalk. Is that for the construction going on? Yeah. Yeah, the contractors dictate where they park at. And that's all. That's not being absorbed from the borough. That all overtime is paid by the construction company. Okay. But one other thing. I live on the 1000 block of Bailey Road. It's like a racetrack. They go flying up and down all day long, all evening.
and nothing happened.
Or I can tell, I mean, and I respect that you're saying, but I can show you the tickets. We're all over the place. Again, you have a big borough, even though, and we could be, we'll sweep Bailey Road and go down to another street and people are flying on that street. So we are all over. Every traffic concern we get goes out to our officers, and they can only unfortunately be in one place at a time. And I agree with you. We had this discussion at my supervisor's meeting yesterday. You'll be in a marked police car, and people will literally overtake you in a marked police car. For example, we signed up with Bug Patrol. Bug Patrol is that new AI system where if you overtake a bus, it automatically takes a picture, school bus, I'm sorry. It automatically takes a picture of your license, and it sends it to us, and we approve it, and you get a ticket in the mail. 1 month, 80 people overtook buses. And grievous, where kids are walking over, they're flying past the bus. If we weren't there, those 80 incidents would have never been, I mean, if the bus patrol wasn't there, those 80 incidents would have went on. And no, I agree with you, sir. And it's not, look, and I'm just telling you, it's not dating. I ride all around, it's everywhere. I think after COVID, people assume stop signs are pedestrians anymore. They're not stop signs. And it's everywhere. And we understand, and we're working on that. We are working on it, and trust me, I have people down there that are writers. We hired one guy, he had 40 tickets he wrote last month. We have writers down there.
All right, well, that's the only question I have for you, but my other question is, I guess for another panel. Is it, whose responsibility is it, like when I leave my house and I go into Whitby Avenue, it's like a war zone. Potholes everywhere. Right. You can't, I mean, sometimes you have to like slow down and maneuver around and everything. So I want to know whose responsibility is to notify the city of Philadelphia about that situation. Good question.
The city of Philadelphia has been notified on numerous occasions. That number is 411 that we call ourselves to let the city of Philadelphia know that the potholes, as soon as we deviate, are horrendous. And you're correct. I've notified you twice myself last week. I'm not sure about our director, if she's done it. She has. 411 notifies Philadelphia. We can only do so much by notifying them. If they don't come out, we just keep calling them. But residents, please. The more of us that call, the better it is.
Is it 311 or 411?
411. It's the Philadelphia Streets Department.
So you live out here, we can't use those 3 numbers. We have to use the whole number for the city, the 686-1776. Right. We can't just dial the 311 because we're in Yellow County. That's right. Yeah, because I've been calling every week. And you have to do the
whole number.
The whole number.
The whole number. Let me reiterate this. 311, I'm sorry, not 411.
But that doesn't only Philadelphia on the landmark.
686.
686-1776.
1776.
I call it every week, that's why I know.
I think we're going to start trying to send email out with
They give you numbers and they
My last question. Sure. Well, let me find. We still.
Before you get to the next question, that had come up and for a as a gateway, it's our gateway in Philadelphia to the so you need to step that up, and I will be contacting some of the politicians, the council president, Howard Johnson, maybe in my area. I'm going to try to set that, okay?
So my last question.
Yeah.
Are we still citing people that don't clean up in front of their houses? The reason I say this is because I've been here long enough to get old. And I probably haven't been here long enough, as long as some other people. I've been here like 37 years. So every day that I'm not doing anything, I got to police the block, pick up trash. And now my neighbors, I'm not gonna say anything to them because I don't want to have to get into a conflict. They don't cut the grass. And I'm the only one doing it. So,
Yes.
who's responsible to make sure that is?
Code enforcement.
The code enforcement, all code.
Are they here?
Yeah, they are.
Alright. You're on the hook now.
Yeah, code enforcement. So it's been a problem, and it seems like, I don't know, some folks coming up don't have the same, the same orientation, as they maybe had, but, it's been a problem with my neighbors, I found that, and, some of them, and, but it's a code, you can call code surreptitiously, and they'll come out.
I mean, do they have a vehicle? I mean, are they supposed to be on the street or you got a call?
They do go on the street, they do, peruse the neighborhood, but they also take calls, if there's a problem, and they'll take a look at it.
I just want things back.
Yeah, calls the borough.
Two.
Yeah, I have a borough.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to piggyback off of what my neighbor just said. So when we're talking about that's the code department. So every year, you know, spring comes, winter comes, spring comes. When spring comes, everybody, well not everybody, but most people want to clean up, tidy up, and make the house look nice out front. Is there a schedule that code has to go around to make sure that people are cutting their grass, trimming their trees, and doing what needs to be done, especially on the main ways? When you look at Church Lane and you look at McDade, and like I saw the guy was just out there cutting the grass on McDade across from Bell Avenue. It was like a jungle when I walked my dog the other day. I thought I was, gonna fall in a drink or something. I know we're laughing, but it's not fun. Because we all pay taxes, and that's why we're here, to make sure that our dollars are working for us. And if somebody writes me a citation or violation, I think that she should get one too if her grass is high. So don't pick and choose. Let's have a plan, right? If you know you're talking about Whitby or the main streets where people are going, you start there and then you work your way in. Or you can communicate, put it on the website. Hey, spring is coming, make sure that your grass is not dead high, and so forth. Communicate for those people that don't know. And then also, when the realtors are selling these homes, that's something that we can communicate with them to make sure that the buyers know that that's a requirement when you buy this house and live in this neighborhood.
Sure. It's great suggestions. I'm a property borough manager and interim code director. We do all of it. Talking about the one section is actually just part of that Philadelphia, but try to pay on top of them to help us negotiate and help back some of those trees. We do have a plan. We're out there every single day. We write dozens of items daily.
What's your average? What's your average a day?
I'm not sure I can pull those metrics up. But yeah, I can pull them. I'm happy to report out. Even just
and even in the driveways with I live on Bell Avenue.
Yep.
You know how people throw their trash out.
So that's been our target over the last couple of days and weeks. I mean, I know even just one of our officers was targeting the driveways. That's been a deteriorating issue. Shared driveways. We put those on the website, we put those on social media, with special notices. We talk about them in meetings all the time. Unfortunately, it's a widespread issue. A lot of our neighboring municipalities are dealing with it even worse than we are. I hear all the time, they look so much better than some of our immediate neighbors. It's not going to be perfect. Our guys are out there every single day. We have currently 3 code officers, and we are in process of appointing a new director. We're automating the code department to make it faster, more efficient, to be able to issue violations and citations in the field. right when they see them, instead of having to take heavy paper and expensive process. So we're getting a lot more nimble than we have been over the years. Anytime somebody calls our department, we dispatch folks almost within minutes. Our close team is out in the field. We have a really good communication process. There's things we can improve on, but we love your feedback. Anything that is reported to our department, we address it.
Okay, so I just just curious as to what the numbers are. Mayor, can I say,
Yeah, so, we get a code report each month at our council meeting, and those numbers are also embedded there. Other things that we can also do is to make sure that we're holding our magistrate accountable. In this process, we have, like once we write a citation, if it goes to the court and it sits there for a while, oftentimes they get thrown out. So we have to make sure that, we're holding others accountable as well. We can only do but so much for people's private property. We can evade and charge back, but again, that's not responsible use of our tax dollars if they're overusing that. But Public Works will evade certain properties if they are a danger or a nuisance and charge it back to the owner. We also have a plan for absentee owners that we capture those properties to make sure that we're getting in touch with people who own the Navy, don't live in Navy, and don't respect what our rules are. Or perhaps they don't know that we've changed. So we're also in the process of updating a lot of our codes and ordinances to ensure that they are up to date and no longer incomplete. The notifications are on our website. They go out in our quarterly newsletter and are on social media as well.
real quick, sorry.
So just let me have one more, and then I'm done. Is it? I mean, if you go around on some of these blocks, like Harvard Road, and you look at some of these houses, they look like Sanford or something. And I don't think that's fair to a person like me and everybody else in here to have to manicure our houses, do all we have to do, and then we have to look at that. If it was me, I would take the time to get in my car, ride around, see what it is, and I would give them a warning. Because it's not hard to do. Because I'm going to tell you, I've been out here a long time, and it was completely different. When I first moved out here, the first Christmas, they caroled in front of my house. That's how nice it was. Now, it's turned into a jungle. Nobody they don't seem to care. A lot of people just don't seem to care. And for us to come here in this environment and to keep talking all the time, talking don't get it done. Action do.
So
we have to step up. We have to step up. Excuse me?
So I was going to speak to that very thing.
Okay, just let me finish because I got to clear myself.
Okay.
So I just think, we need to stop talking, start doing action.
Yes. All right. So, sir, I wanted to address what you just said because what the borough manager said is that there are only 3 code officers, and as far as council is concerned, we can talk about maybe hiring more people. But what I would encourage residents to do, and I am a resident, everybody up here on council is a resident as well. When you see things such as what you just mentioned, things that look like Sanford and Son, take a picture, email the code department, which is Mr. Cade, and you start really maybe bringing some attention to some of the things that you see, because no one can see everything in this borough.
But it's 365
Sir, I bet you can I please finish what I'm saying, because you've been talking for a while.
Okay.
So what I would like to say is, it's all of our, no you're not, but it's all of our responsibility in the borough to keep the borough, the standard and the quality of life. All of our responsibility. I walk the borough in the evening, sometimes after work, and I get equally as frustrated as the residents. And just because I'm a council person doesn't mean that makes me not a resident. I see things on my own street that I have been speaking to the code department for years about, and it does not seem to be getting addressed in a timely manner. So what we need to do is just, as our council president mentioned, we need to put pressure on our magistrate, which is our district court. We need to put pressure on our departments to make sure everyone is doing their job. We all have to live here. I don't want to live in raggedy stuff. You don't want to live in raggedy stuff, but it is all of our responsibility to do our part. We're neighbors, so it's all of our responsibility to make sure we keep the quality of life in the way it's supposed to be. And Chief can tell you, what have we been talking about lately? That shopping center over there. Quite frankly, I get tired of seeing the foolishness going on, but if you're seeing stuff just like I'm seeing it, report it. It's all of our responsibility. So I understand what you're saying, sir, but you're seeing things. Why don't you call up to the borough? Why don't you take a picture with your phone and say, hey, have you guys seen this property? Have you seen this hole? Have you addressed this? Sometimes it takes applying pressure.
Let me ask you one question. Did you know that years ago, the code enforcement person was riding around all the time? Mm-hmm. They had cars and it was always out.
Absolutely, yeah.
So why we not always out now? Don't make excuses for it.
Can I?
Let's keep it real.
So there are code officers out and on the street in their code cars. And it is just like our police officers, it's a large borough, a large area to cover. And people are getting more crafty at hiding their foolishness. We just had to pass an ordinance that you can't. We are able to look under a tarp on a car because when it's all the cars that shouldn't be there, people inside of them, people just put a tarp over there. Mm-hmm. Now we have limitations as a government. We can't just go onto people's private property. And what they look like, say for this on you, maybe someone else's garden of love. So we also need to make sure that we're following the law and we're not spending our tax dollars. We can't have our code officers on property. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. We cannot have our code officers on private property. We still have to respect and abide by the law as well. So when there's something that's not working for us, we are not permitted to bend the law. We have to advocate to change the rule. We can't just bend them. And those changes take time, and it's a process. But again, once we fight, we can debate if it becomes a danger, but we have to follow the law too. We can't just go out and say, I don't like that you painted the property purple, make it back yellow because it's more pleasing to me. I can't tell you that you have too many planters in your home and in your personal yard and it looks a mess. It might look a mess to me, but it might be someone else's treasure. So we do have to respect that, and we are doing what we can. And again, I do believe that our borough manager also said that we could be doing a better job, which we are trying to do. But thank you.
And if I could just ask you something that I heard you say clearly, and my husband and I have been here for 43 years. And when we moved into our home, we were a young couple. And the older neighbors came and introduced themselves, and then also shared what we do here and what we don't do here. So what we've done is begun to do the same thing. And when new neighbors come in, it's not about, I don't want to say anything, it's like, no, we welcome them and we share with them how we work together in our neighborhood. Even to the point when somebody new moves in, we make sure we're not standing over them and beating them down, but we welcome them in and let them know how we work together in our neighborhood. And if somebody is struggling, because life happens to everybody, and if it happens, keep on living. But if you're having a difficulty or a home and you need help, then let's get you the help that we need, because they may be going through some financial struggles, the reason why they're not able to be, what they need to do in their home. So how can we work together? But, I've had that conversation with many people, not just for my block, up and down Myra Avenue, whatever. But hey, let's get back to you have your block captains, you have your block association, you know each other, you work together. We get out together and clean. Or if I know you can't get out, because I make sure your trash is out. And you make sure so those are the kind of things that I think we talk about getting back to how it used to be, and I agree with you, because I remember what it was like. We have to go back to doing that and not saying, well, no, I don't want to say anything. No, let me go over, introduce myself, we're neighbors, and let's figure out how we can work together to be neighbors to make sure that we're keeping our areas clean, and if you need help, I'm absolutely going to be there helping you and vice versa. So, and then, again, if somebody is struggling, rather than, and I've talked to even before I joined council, there's some people we're giving a citation to who absolutely can't afford it. So rather than just give the citation, let's get them the resources they need to help them do what they need to do.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing, and I appreciate your concern and questions, sir. But what council is saying, what I'm observing is it's a multifaceted issue. It's not just one entity, just on code. It's just like police. They can't do it on their own. We depend upon the residents, your eyes and ears, and we have a certain responsibility. I might not like that. I do the same thing. I have some neighbors who move in that don't keep their house up. And my wife and I argue about it. You say, you're the man. But I'm the neighbor first, and we have to lovingly. That's what the definition of neighbor is not someone who's just isolated by themselves and just looks around. A neighbor is someone that's interactive with the people that are around them. And sometimes it's a dirty word, but sometimes it's risky, and I understand that it's fraught. Sometimes we don't want to, especially in this day and age. We live in a day and age where we don't want to out anybody. We don't want to, talk to somebody about a problem. We don't want to look like we're being a snitch or these code words, but we still have to be a neighbor. And a lot of I can tell you that a lot of the problems that I get from residents has to do with being a neighbor. That I just got a call today. My neighbor's doing this, my neighbor's doing that. I keep calling code, but there's a certain aspect to it that's indivisible where you just got to deal with your neighbor. And if the neighbor's difficult, there's only so much we can do. And the other thing is, we have to, as council president, some of the other council, we have to go by the law. And sometimes the law is uncompromising. I have a neighbor that has a citation because they haven't fixed certain things. Then it goes to court. It's another 60 days. They give a statement. Then they give another, and they haven't, it's been addressed, but it's been a year. It's been a year that they've had this problem. Because of the court. Not that that's just one example. We're addressing it by the court. Everything's started and cited, and summons has been given, citations been given, and the problem's still there because of the court systems, and they're just upping the fines, but it hasn't moved them. There's nothing we can do. So there's a multiplicity of issues here, but I don't want to. We'll give you Q&A and a sufficient time, but that's the answer. We're all part of the same system. We have a responsibility as municipal leaders, government leaders, local leaders. You have a responsibility as residents and as neighbors, and that's something that I have to do. I'm the neighbor first. But that's for me.
Real quick, I just want to say maybe we can start working more closely as the local government with the blocks and maybe reinstituting the block captain system, because I think if you have that, I grew up here and we had block parties, and that was one of the main things that they did, but also they kept the block together.
That's right.
And I think if we could start making Yates feel more like a neighborhood again, and not so much, oh, I'm just concerned about my little square, and that's it, and make this really feel like part of what a lot of us that are nostalgic about Yates, like the people who have been here for a very long time, is that everyone knew each other. We felt more like family. We have really gotten so far away from that. And if we can get back to that, I think that will help improve everything about this town. We would communicate more with our neighbors. We would hold people more accountable. So maybe as the recreation chair, that might be a new initiative. We can maybe start initiating more of the block captains and start working more block by block and building this neighborhood up to where it used to be. And not even that, even better. So, we'll talk about that more.
We're gonna close with a raffle. So, if the raffle, Patty, where are you?
I want to get raffles.
Patty, where are you for the raffle? We've got some prizes, so take the raffle tickets out. Where's Patty? Ruthie, you get the raffle bucket?
I had to get one too.
And my daughter Ruthie's gonna help us. We're looking at the court president pick on. My daughter's saying you go ahead.
Yeah. 9, 2, 3. Last three numbers are 9, 2, 3.
Come on down.
Come on down.
And we have 5 $10 giant gift cards. So these are the first giant $10 gift cards. There's 2 $15 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. We have one $25 gift card. Thank you.
All right, the next one is 950. Last three numbers are 950.
So she can sit down. We'll get with her. You can take her ticket.
The next one is 933.
You're in a lucky group.
This is fun.
Is it okay? Do you like it? It is fun. So y'all just do it.
Alright, last three numbers are 942. 942.
You mind?
You have to be present to win.
Gotta be present.
You have to be physically present in order to win. Alright, we're gonna move on to the next one. 936.
Right here.
Alright, and then we have 931.
That's the last of the $10 giant. No, we have, two, Dunkin' Donuts. Two Dunkin' Donut gift cards now.
Alright, so the last three are 9 to 4.
Miss Clara, Mike is spending your coffee money. You said you like your coffee tomorrow.
So much hard work, right?
Exactly.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you.
Alright, and we have 9, 6, 1.
Oh, right here.
Thank you.
Now for the grand prize, the big enchilada, $25 Visa gift card.
Alright, the big enchilada goes to 935.
He likes it. My daughter says he loves it. Yeah, I told you.
My birthday tomorrow.
And just so that everybody knows for the record, it's a gift, extension of love from my wife and I. So this is not on the bar, you won't see it on the,
Also, the borough manager and his birthday tomorrow.
the borough manager's feast birthday tomorrow. He'll do, good, And listen, I didn't recognize, Catherine, how, I didn't recognize you? Yeah, she's the director of, Public Works, and superintendent is Mike Mizuno. So you've done, Public Works Director, and all of these departments impinges upon public safety. You know, getting the streets together, the streets clean, snow removal, all of this stuff, keeping the potholes, all of that impinges upon public safety. They do a heck of a job. So I believe we introduced the whole team. Did I miss anybody?
No.
And we have, I'd like to end at 8:30. We have plenty of food. Please help yourself right there to the side. We have sandwiches, all different types of sandwiches, fruit salads, water. So help yourself, okay? And thank you so much for coming. Everybody good?